Hi guys, I'm going to show you today how to do a short classic graduated haircut with loads of texture and loads of shape. Quite nicely tucked into the back. It's a haircut that a lot of young hairdressers struggle with to get the shape strong and to get the shape tight. So I'm going to show you some nice easy ways and some little rules to follow so you can get these haircuts happening well for yourself. A lot of people tend to treat the underneath as an afterthought, but really you've got to treat it as the foundation of your little haircut. You should always try and make your sectioning work to the angle of the haircut. So the curve of that section is going to be related to the curve of the haircut that I'm going to get going. My first section is really teeny, so that I can actually start as I mean to go on by taking some really nice tight sections. And this bit of hair on the bottom, a lot of people treat as an afterthought, but what I find is if you get their hair happening really clean right from the beginning, it helps you create a really good basis for the rest of the haircut. So my first tip is to work on your first section before you start to move on. My next section, you can't see it, it's just behind my fingers, but it's coming directly out from the head. I'm just pulling the hair directly out from the head with a slight downward diagonal in order to start building up a little bit of weight and a little bit of shape towards the top of the head. One of the ways to keep your sections really clean is by putting your thumb on the comb, working it through the hair and keeping your thumb on that section. That way you can hold the hair indefinitely, pick the hair up with the comb and come in nice and tight without things wobbling around. As I'm taking my sections, I'm leaving that section in there and just very precisely and very gently move around the head, keeping the bottom super tight. My fingers are really gripping that hair there. So I'm just starting to build up a nice bit of shape. I'm taking my sections very clean. So especially as the hair is so short down here, the smaller the sections are required. As a rough rule in hairdressing, the shorter the haircut, the smaller the sections you have to take. That's a rough rule. So I'm just working around, finish. So as I come through to this side here, I'm blending in to what I've already done. As you're working through the hair, it's important that you keep the hair that you're cutting in your fingertip area. It's very common for young hairdressers to start cutting the hair up here, which is a mistake because it means that you haven't got so much control over the hair and you tend to end up cutting yourself as well. So keep the hair in your fingertips all the time. So in 2 minutes I've created that underneath of the haircut. I can cross-check that and it's almost perfect first time, simply because the sectioning is neat and the angle that the hair is leaving the head is consistent the whole way around. I can cross-check it and see no lumps or bumps. And work on this section until it looks really nice. I think a lot of people forget to do that. But again, this underneath can be as short as you like, and it's the building block for the rest of the haircut to take on a nice strong shape. So don't be frightened to cut your first section really tight. What I'm actually going to do is use my thinning scissors here to very carefully take any weight off of that underneath bit so that it sits quite flat and actually quite high on the ear, so that it's very light and it gives the haircut a much more dramatic shape going into that cheekbone. Lots of graduation here, but keeping that length, maintaining that length around the front, so keep that nice elegant point directly into that cheekbone there. Bear in mind that the closer to the finished result your first set of cutting is, the more fun you're going to have when it comes to finishing it off. Okay, my next section is going to connect this area I've just done into the other area. So I'll pick up my section, keep my comb still and take it very tight behind the ear like that. One of the things that young hairdressers have problems with is pulling the hair directly out from the head. What they quite often want to do is lean it onto the one before, which means that you always build up weight either towards the middle or towards the front, depending on which way you go. But it's important that you can just pull the hair directly out from the head. So the hair is leaving the head and going directly into your fingers and not directing or leaning onto the section in front. Okay, so my first section of this top area is this segment shape, which I've lifted directly up and done some gentle point cutting, because I'm going to be creating quite a lot of lift and texture in this top area to blend down into the shorter shape. My next section, I'll take a bit of my guideline away, do another segment shape, lift it a little bit high, and do some gentle point cutting in there. So you can see that I've left some disconnected bits there, and that allows me the option to play with that freehand and create that real kind of strong shape that I'm hoping to create through the front. Open my scissors nice and wide and creating that length through the front and that shortness through the crown. You need to look at the whole head and small areas of it. And I'm just going to start to work around the hairline on the underneath, just by putting my comb right into that hairline and gently removing that shape and tightening in that hairline. And the tighter and cuter you get that bottom inch of the hair, the more of a dramatic, elegant shape you're going to start to create. Starting to remove hairs just to thin out the hair, make it feel easy to handle, easy to deal with, and easy to look at. And I want the back to be nice and light. I'm going to methodically remove hairs as I work through there. The angle that I put my scissors into the hair section will be exactly the same angle that the hair is leaving my fingers. So if I pull the hair directly up, I'm going to put my scissors directly in and remove one hair at a time, just to thin and thin and thin very gently that hair. So I'm just going to get into and see if I can't neaten up that hairline. I'm going to go to using a slightly smaller comb. This is a really thin barber style comb. I can go right in on that hairline, start taking that hair really tight so the shape gets more and more elegant without making it look fierce. Okay, I've got towards the end of my haircut now. I've created a technique which is going to work in the salon because it doesn't take long. It's quick, but I've created a short, versatile, wearable haircut which is a flattering shape. The idea of this haircut is that it doesn't need styling in particular, doesn't particularly need any product in it. It'll sit there quite naturally by itself, and it's an actual saleable, wearable product in a commercial sense. It works because it's quick and it looks like it's meant to be like that. So that's the end of my look, and I hope that you like it. Thank you.